Hey everyone, this is your Hairapy session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland Hairstylist. So, I've been really enjoying doing this podcast because it gives me the opportunity of meeting so many talented and diverse individuals here in the Portland area. And some that, if I didn't do this show, may have taken me longer to connect with or not even connect with at all. I love knowing people's backgrounds, how they got to where they're at now, their family, and their interests. And of course, I love talking about hair. I think that might be one reason why I'm good at it, is because I'm not only interested with hair, but I'm generally interested in the person wearing it. Everyone has a story. Well, this guest I'm very excited to have on the show. Driven, talented, and a go-getter, she's not only a stylist of 18 years and specializing in curly hair for the last 12, but she's a mother of 2 and a salon owner. Last year, she taught a curly hair class where my friend Janelle attended. I spoke with Janelle and she was so ecstatic talking about the class and the knowledge she had gained with curly hair. Well, I've been talking about wanting to go out on my own for some time, starting my own salon, which, by the way, guys, with everything going on, I'm putting a hold on that. But that does not mean that I'm not doing my research. Well, Janelle had spoken so highly of the owner, I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna message Andrea and see if she'd like to get coffee, talk about herself and her business as a salon owner. My first contact with Andrea Neal-Thiesen, owner of Gildedfox, was April 27th of 2019. She responded immediately and we met up for coffee. Since then, we've been conversing back and forth via Instagram, following each other's stories and seeing how each other's businesses are doing and how our lives are in the world of COVID. She's one that I've confided in about my reservations of becoming a salon owner, as well as sometimes the hard struggles of being a hairstylist, of being a mom, and just trying to do it all. Here's the interview with Andrea Neal-Thiesen, owner of Gildedfox Salon, a salon specializing in curly hair located at Northwest Westover at Northwest 23rd in Portland. Interview on Tuesday, August 18th of 2020. Okay. So everybody, this is Andrea Neal-Thiesen. She is a salon owner of Gildedfox, which is a curly haired salon. And she's owned the salon for 4 years, and this is in Portland. So when was your anniversary for owning your salon?
June 1st.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it just happened.
Did you do anything to celebrate? Because I know we were still in, like with your husband and your kids, like, hey.
Yeah, no, I did. I don't even think I acknowledged it to them.
Oh.
It was sort of something I kept to myself.
Yeah.
And it's not really a time for celebrating.
God.
It was just so.
Well, I think it's like we didn't even know when we were going to be open, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So.
Yeah, because we didn't open until June 19th. So.
Well, you look like you're kicking ass on your salon, so hopefully you can, celebrate.
Yeah.
So you've owned your salon for 4 years, and you're originally from LA, but you've been in Portland for 7 years. So first of all, before we jump into the fact of you owning a salon, because, and then guys, just to let you know, I've actually talked with you quite a few times. Andrea was the first salon owner that I reached out. My friend had taken a class with her, Janelle Fairdy, at 77 Salon, a curly haired class. Mm-hmm. And you are the first person I reached out. And the fact is that you were so nice because I had asked, hey, I'm thinking about opening my own salon. Can we have coffee so I can ask you about it? And you're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So
yeah, I always want to help other people to open their own spaces. And it's so fun to be able to talk to people about that.
I think that
there are so few of us.
Well, and I think it's great too, because I think the thing is people assume that it's competition, like it's competitive.
not wanting to share knowledge, which I honestly don't believe that. And I found like from doing this podcast and reaching out to people that people are actually really willing to help another person out, which is great.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So you've owned your salon for 4 years. You've been here for 7, originally from LA. Now tell me your hair journey when you first decided you wanted to do hair.
Well, I went to community college for 2 semesters, and I just did not know what I wanted to do, but I knew that the college route was not for me, and I wanted to do something creative. So I was sort of trying to decide between going to culinary school and going to beauty school.
Oh,
I
cool.
wanted to
Okay.
go into a trade that I could just do something with my hands
Mhm.
and be able to just start making money. I didn't want to go into a ton of debt to
Mhm.
be able to start a career. And I selfishly picked beauty school because um, I figured that I would gain a lot of weight if I went to culinary school. So
So that was it.
that was
Is
my
there yeah, is anybody was anybody else in your family a hairstylist?
yes, my mom was a hairstylist, so I'm second
Okay.
generation. So I grew up around it, and I was very comfortable with that, um, and had always played with hair.
What, was she really encouraging for you to go to beauty school?
No, she was not. She
Oh,
she
okay.
wanted me to go to college. She did not want me to be a hairstylist. She's like, "This is not a good career.
Oh,
Don't do it."
man. I
So,
know, it's such a bummer when you have your parents, you know what I mean? Like, "No, don't do it," but I
yeah.
mean, you're actually very successful, so
Yeah, so now she's like, "Okay, well, you
yeah.
made it happen."
Now, because you chose beauty school, what because now you're a curly haired specialist. How did you get into curly hair? And I know it has probably to do with the fact that you have curly hair.
Actually, not really, because
Oh, okay.
my hair was just kind of wavy after
Mhm.
having kids. My hair's gotten curlier, but, I wound up I had already been doing hair for a while, for about 6 years, and then I wound up working at a salon in LA that specialized in curly hair,
Uh-huh.
and it was about half of the stylists specialized in it and half didn't, and I just really liked the vibe of the salon. I didn't even really think about becoming a curl specialist until I was sitting there and kind of watching the way that they were working with curls and seeing just all these amazing heads of curls walk out of the salon. So I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this because it was something that had never been taught to me. And it was kind of that area that I just never felt comfortable with.
Mhm.
And so I just sat there and watched the owner and the other curl specialists there and learned what they did and was able to recreate it and just fell in love with the sculpting aspect of cutting curls and just what happens when you hydrate and style curls. It's just so incredible.
How old were you when
I
you went
was when I went into doing hair, or
when you went to get to go to that curly haired salon?
I was 26.
And then when were you going to beauty school? How old were you?
I was 19, I think, when I started.
Oh, okay. So you'd been doing like I wouldn't say regular, but I guess like all
Oh, yeah.
types of haircuts. And
Hmm.
then were you doing all types of hair color too? Or
Yeah, I was. Hmm.
okay. And when you went into the curly haired salon, what was the next step for you? Well, and first of all, did you end up in a curly haired salon because you had difficulty finding a stylist to cut your hair?
No, I didn't actually. And mine, especially before when it was just wavy,
Mhm.
my hair is super forgiving and easy. I hate to admit,
Okay.
but it because I mean, as long as it has a technically good shape in there, then I can diffuse it and work with it, and it was always fine. So as long as they were a good stylist, then I've never had a problem with being able to style my hair and to get the shape right. But what I learned through starting to be a curl specialist is like it's so fulfilling because there are so many people that had really bad experiences and so many stylists that don't know what to do with curls that it to me just felt like a lot more fulfilling than just being able to do just straight haircuts and blowouts and all of that.
What was the next step for you? So 26, you got your hair cut. Is the salon still around? First of
It
all?
is, yeah. It's
And then
Capella Salon in Studio City.
Is the stylist that you saw still working there?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your next step? Like, once you decided, like, this is it, I want to specialize in curly hair, what was the next step from that?
Well, I took the Diva certification, and because that was the method that they were using, and at that time, Diva Curl didn't have more than one certification. Now they have 3 levels of
Oh, okay.
certification. So I flew to San Francisco to take their 2-day certification course, and then was able to start taking on curly clients. And at that time, I was super fortunate that with the timing of everything too, because at that time I had just moved from San Francisco to LA, and I was the only one stylist building a clientele at that time. So they just fed me a lot of clients, and I
Oh,
was
that's cool.
really build up my curly clientele pretty quickly.
The salon that you were working at, was it did they do other types of haircuts, like, for straight hair or
They did. It
okay.
was really well-rounded salon. So they or is so they do everything, but really have kind of honed in on that curly
How
focus.
long how long were you working at that salon for?
I was there about 7 years, and even after I moved to Portland, I would fly back once a month.
Oh, okay.
For about 6 months. I did that. I flew back once a month to work there for a week.
How do you like that? Because I think that that's so cool. Like, I'm like, "Oh my god, they must be, like, really well known down there."
It was just exhausting.
Yeah, I get that. I hear
Yeah.
that all the time. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so, I mean, it was nice because I could still stay in touch with my clients there,
Yeah.
and still have that kind of safety net, because I had no idea how long it was gonna take me to build up my clientele in Portland. So it was nice that at least I knew I was gonna have that full week of income. But then after about 6 months, then it was just too much.
Yeah.
And I was really getting busy in Portland, and just felt like it was time to.
Did you do an apprenticeship program too for that salon as well, or
Actually, no, I didn't.
oh, okay.
I and I actually never apprenticed.
Oh,
I was
okay.
never an assistant. But I highly recommend doing that for
I
for
yeah, I mean, I love the structure of your salon that you have and, like, having assistants and stuff. So,
Thanks. Yeah,
uh
that sort of developed after a long time of realizing that it really helps just to start on your hair journey if you can have that structured
yeah.
start.
Yeah, and I totally believe in that too.
Mm.
Now why did you move up to Portland?
Just for a change of life, to try to slow things down, ironically, which I have not been able to do. I
Like,
realize
you're
that's
pretty
just
busy.
mentality.
Yeah.
But also my husband and I just really wanted to be able to buy a house and to have
Oh,
a family. And in LA, that's really hard to do.
yeah,
So
yeah. And what salon did you get into when you first came up here?
when I was first here, I was at Platform Artistic Salon. It was in the Pearl, and they've since closed. But it was actually a challenge to find a salon that would take me because of being a curly hair specialist, and I really wanted to work with Diva Curl products, and that was sort
Mhm.
of like part of what I do is, it's half in the haircut and then half in the styling, and I needed to work with the right products. So it was a real challenge to find a salon that would take me on with having no clients, and then also that would just carry a product line for me. So
Did they have, like, during that time, was there any curly-haired salons?
there was there's one called Kiss Kiss Salon in North
Okay.
Portland that's been around for a long time, and so they existed.
Did you try applying over there?
I actually didn't. I just yeah, I think I wanted to be in a different neighborhood and just kind of with a
Okay.
different vibe. So um yeah,
And then how long were you in platform for?
I was there. How long was I there? Maybe about I can't remember, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And
What
I was pregnant and was a couple weeks away from my maternity leave and found out the salon was closing. So then I kind of had to go. I went out and figured out my next move. from there, which at that time I was sort of thinking that I wanted to start my own salon, but that was not a good time to do it right before popping out a baby. So then I went to Ivan Dollar Studio, which is in Southeast, and such a
I think
beautiful place.
that's still around, right?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I checked out their website. It's really pretty. I love the inside
Yeah.
of it.
Mhm.
What was it that got you to like maybe I want to be a salon owner?
It was really just the overflow of clientele that I had, and knowing that there aren't many curl specialists in
Mm.
Portland and in general, and so I wanted to be able to help other stylists to really make a career out of being a stylist, and then also to be able to have that just that fulfillment and that totally losing my
No,
word
it's
there,
fine.
but like just to be able to have more of a purpose with
Yeah.
their hair career, and it's something that I'm just so passionate about that I realized that this is probably the next step, and that it was just what needed to happen.
And so far you've been doing hair for 17 years, right?
Yeah, 18 actually. I just had
That's
my
really
18th
cool.
year anniversary in July. That yeah.
When I talked to Josette, I think Josette said she over 20, and then
Mm,
I know Rosha's been doing hair for a while too. And I think what's really cool is to talk to people that are still passionate.
mhm.
You know, that's a really neat thing. It's like, oh man, they've been doing hair for a lot longer than I have, and it's just really cool to see that they're still passionate as when they
Yeah.
first started.
Yeah, and for a little while there, I was for several years, even when I was in LA, I thought that I wanted to change careers because
Mhm.
I loved doing hair, but I know that just physically it's really hard to do for a long time. And I don't necessarily want to be behind the chair when I'm in my 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So I was going to school part-time to try to shift to maybe be a dietitian. And
Okay.
then I realized that I really love what I do, and I can carve this out for myself and have a salon and be able to train people and educate and make that sort of my new path.
Now you were at 2 salons in Portland, and then did you open up your salon then after that?
Yeah, after I was at Ivan Dollar Studio, then I started looking for spaces, and once I was kind of through the initial first year of having my first daughter, then I realized that this was really what I that was really my goal, was to have a salon, and that was really the next step. So then I started putting my business plan together and looking for spaces, and just
How
stumbled upon the right one.
Yeah, because I've been looking at I actually put a hold on it because of COVID,
Mhm,
but at first, before I think it was actually during the shutdown, I was like, "What the hell? I just wanna start looking at spaces," and it
mhm.
is really interesting to see location, the dollar per square foot, and
Yeah.
then you told me about the triple net,
Mhm.
so that was when you first started telling me about that, so I started doing research on that.
Mhm.
How the Now I know that you did I don't even think what you bought the salon. Sorry, I'm like totally tripping over my words. How did you find out about this salon? Because I remember you told me the story, but I want you to tell everybody else because it's a really cool story.
Yeah, I actually found it on Craigslist, and I was sort of desperate at that point. I had been looking for salons and just trying to go through um, just product reps and stylists and just any kind of referral I could figure out to find salon owners who were possibly wanting to sell. And then I thought, like, "Well, I'm just going to check Craigslist and look up retail spaces that maybe I could convert and
Mhm.
turn into a salon space." So I looked up retail spaces, and I happened to click on this one that didn't even say it was a salon, but I click on it and it was a salon space that the owner thought she wanted to move into. We're on the second story, and there's a
Mhm.
ground floor unit that was empty, and so the owner thought she wanted to just take her whole salon and move it into the downstairs space. So I went and looked at that and talked to her about how what that would look like, because I know a lot of salon owners I would think would not be comfortable with having another salon on top of them.
Yeah.
And but she was okay with it. The previous owner did skincare, and And then when we kind of were talking for a couple weeks about what that would look like. And then she just told me, I think that you would be a really great salon owner. And would you be willing to just buy my salon from me and take over this space? And she was at this point where she was wanting to get out of the industry and do something else. And so we explored that option and I was able to take over her salon.
How what was the time frame from when you first spoke with her and saw it on Craigslist to like, "Oh, holy cow, I'm gonna be a salon owner."
It was pretty fast. I
Yeah.
think it was about 6 weeks or 8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
It was quick.
What did your husband say to that?
Well, he was good with it because I had already he is very much like not a creative person. He's like very analytical and I had my business plan already set out and I had figured out the numbers. So once that was figured out, then he was comfortable with me doing it because I had already been trying to find a salon for about
Yeah.
6 months at that point.
Did you
So
find was there any other salon or space that you really liked that it just kind of fell through, or this was the first one that you actually found?
there was another space that I really loved, and it just was so big. For it would
Mm.
have been. I'm so glad now, looking back, that it didn't work out. But I still dream about being in that space eventually.
Really? What's the
I
so what's the square footage of your salon?
don't exactly know. I think it's under 1,000 square feet. It's probably like 800 square feet, something like that.
And then how many stations do you have?
We have six.
Because I've been in there and job shadowed you, and it does not feel cramped. I don't think it does.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, the layout is really great, and I think since you've been in, we remodeled and turned those front windows,
Uh-huh.
the waiting area, we turned that into 2 stations.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So where do your clients wait? Do they wait outside or do you have to go
Now
downstairs
they
to get
do.
them?
We had 2 chairs for a waiting area before, but
Uh-huh.
now, we've taken those out because with COVID and the phase 1
Yeah.
guidelines, we're not allowed to have that, so, yeah, people just wait outside now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now so you've owned your salon for 4 years. How has COVID affected you?
It Well, it's changed the way that we do our returning client curly cuts because before we were always double booking or triple booking sometimes. And
Uh-huh.
I would do my haircut and send that client off to the assistant to wash, style, and dry, and then start my next client. So now we have to see one client fully all the way through for their whole appointment. So we've eliminated that wash, styling, drying process for our returning guests. And I see my client for the cut and then I refresh their curls and send them out the door that way. So,
How do you refresh your curls? Is it the product you use?
yeah, I'll use usually just a water spray bottle and then either a leave-in conditioner or the same product that they use to style to refresh.
Okay. And then
Leave them for a few
you
minutes.
don't oh, sorry, but you don't use your hood dryers anymore, at least for right now, right?
Well, sometimes we are. It
Okay.
depends. Usually we're trying to diffuse, but sometimes diffusing just works better for certain curl types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the product that you carry? Is
Intercent.
and now do you do Diva Curl? I couldn't remember if you still carry Diva Curl.
We don't. I wound up during the shutdown, I wound up getting rid of Diva Curl.
Oh, okay.
We had this change over the years. It started out as such an amazing product, and then Lorraine Massey left, who's the one who started Diva Curl. She left about 7 years ago. I think it was about when I moved to Portland that happened. And so I started looking for a cleaner alternative for products at that time and just totally fell in love with InnerSense. And we are selling it to like 95% of our clients anyways. So I decided to just get rid of Diva Curl and really go with InnerSense because it's just so clean and so much better for the curls.
How is it cleaner?
It's all organic and they use
Oh,
whole
cool.
essential oils and they really are amazing at where they source all their ingredients. Like the shea butter in Inner Sense is literally the best shea butter in the world that you can get,
That's
and
cool.
it's all perfectly balanced. It's incredible what it does for curl health.
And you guys are a green circle salon, right?
We are, yeah.
Now, I think that you can now recycle some of the PP is it PPE?
PPE, yeah.
Yeah.
can. Yeah, the masks and the disposable gloves we can
Oh,
refill.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Now,
Mhm,
because you've had to cut doing the double booking, triple booking,
mhm.
has that or have you had any clients? Have you lost any clients for at least right now that wanna wait and come back later?
We have, I'd say 20 to 30% probably are not ready to come back yet, which I completely
Mhm.
understand. There's so many, so many reasons why you wouldn't want to. Oh, another thing that we did for because of COVID is we're now a clean air certified salon as well. So we've got a HEPA filter
Oh,
that we installed
nice.
to the ceiling, and it's a whole 3-part ventilation system. So that is really nice. And I think that's helped a lot of our clients who may have not been comfortable with coming back
Mhm.
otherwise. A lot of people have mentioned that they're so grateful that we've got that filtration
Oh,
system
that's
in there.
and
So
are you doing any colors at all or just
we
haircuts
are
right now? Oh, okay.
different color. Yeah,
And then how does that work with doing the haircuts? Do you do the haircuts first and then you do the coloring?
we do.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So, and then obviously we'll do the whole washing and styling process when it's chemical services. And it makes our appointments so much longer because of adding that drying time. So we're not able to see as many clients in a day, which I'm sure is happening with you too, with just
Oh,
regular
yeah. Yeah.
hair styling. Um,
Has your prices changed at all or you kept the same prices as before?
We changed a couple of our prices. So our
Okay.
returning client cuts have stayed the same, but for our new clients, that price has gone up because now it's a 2.5 hour appointment for a new
Yeah.
client haircut because we need to do that washing and styling process and drying because we want to make sure that they really know what they're doing for styling when they go home. So that's gone up. And then also our root touch ups and full colors have gone up
Okay.
because we have to include that drying time and
Yeah.
processing time. Whereas before I could do a half an hour, book a half an hour for a root touch up and move on to my next guest. And now it's an hour and a half.
Is that hard for you not to double book? Because 'Cause you're
Yes,
so used yeah.
it's so hard. Yeah, it's so strange seeing 2 or 3 clients in a day, but then still feeling like you've done a full day and exhausted.
I I used to be like, before the kiddos, I was a really fast cutter and
Mm,
hair colorist. I walk fast back and forth in the salon, like I'm
yeah.
zooming. And then now having the kids, I'm just like, "Nah."
Yeah,
For
just
a
be
haircut,
here.
men's cut, I could do a men's cut in like 15, 20 minutes, and I just block an hour
Uh-huh.
because it's like, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
need some me time.
yeah. Now are you still because with what's going on with COVID, and then actually I wanted to get into because I've been noticing some posts about Black Lives Matter.
Mhm.
Now, you are a curly haired salon. Before the movement, which, the movement happened a while ago, but it's now
Mhm.
more prominent
Yeah.
now. What was the percentage of the diversity of your clients before Black Lives Matter?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's changed, but it's
That hasn't changed.
probably, like our Black and mixed clientele probably makes up like 30 to 40% of our clients.
And then are you guys gonna target more for the, women of color or men of color or anything like that now?
Um, Not necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, I think like 'cause curly hair really encompasses the whole spectrum of wavy to coily, and I always have been very aware of on our Instagram feed and social media of like just really putting the representation out there, and I think that speaks for itself. And
Oh,
I
totally.
and it's sort of odd being a white woman owning the salon that is very diverse because I love that it's diverse and I'm so happy that it is, and I also don't want to overstep. There are other stylists, there are black stylists who also know how to do it too, and so it's sort of this tricky balance, but something that I do really want to do in the future and have been working towards is hiring a more diverse um, employee base. And in Portland, the whitest city in America, it's a challenge and it's something that you really have to work towards. So something that I've been working towards is finding those beauty schools that are more diverse and going there maybe once every 6 months to teach about natural curls, and then setting that up so that we can we can find our future stylists that way.
How many stylists do you have now?
It's actually dwindled to 2 of us.
So it's you and Chandler, right? Is it
Me and Russell.
Oh, Russell, I'm sorry. And then now do you still wanna look for an apprentice right now, or do you wanna kinda hold off?
I have one right now.
Oh, cool.
She just started in when did she start? Right before we started back up. So in June, she started.
How long has she been doing hair?
She just graduated beauty school. So and
How did
she's
they find you?
through our curl redemption class that we held in February. She came to
Okay.
that, and then we connected there and just kind of stayed in touch. And it had been that she was going to graduate in May when my last assistant Tanner was supposed to be going on the floor, and then COVID happened and everything got pushed out. But yeah, we were able to still make it
Oh,
happen.
that's really nice. Now, does she help you and Russell out or just you?
She helps both of us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And,
And that's
now
been a new thing to figure out too, how our assistant program is now going to work with COVID, because normally my assistant would be getting their hands in curly styling every day with my clients, but now it's really she's more working on the client booking side of things and just setting up the salon, cleaning the salon, making sure everything's running efficiently. And I'm having classes with her once a week for
d
the washing and styling.
Oh, gr and does she help with the shampoos with the clients, or is it mostly just you?
She's not allowed to right now with
Okay.
phase one
Yeah.
regulations. It has to be just one service provider to one
Yeah.
client.
And then in the future, are you looking for is your goal to have more than one apprentice at your salon?
Possibly. It depends. It would be really nice to be able to train 2 people at once. It just depends on how much we need to grow and how much we can afford. So,
How
uh,
long is the program for? Or how long was it before COVID? And then since I know it's probably gonna change now.
it probably will. It was about a year to a year and a half before COVID. I'm hoping to keep it about the same, but it might have to extend a bit longer.
And then, oh, hold on, sorry, just one second. How okay, like, how do you balance first of all, you're a mom, you have a 2.5-year-old and a 6-year-old,
Uh-huh.
and you are a sole proprietor, right?
Mhm.
How the hell do you balance that?
It
And
is hard, and I
being
don't feel like
behind the chair.
I'm balancing. I'm always stressed, and that's been something with COVID that I really well, this whole year I've been trying to get on track with balance. And so it started off really great. I was starting to take trapeze classes, which I felt like that was the
Oh,
only thing I had for
I
me.
remember you were telling me that, yeah.
Yes. And so that I was doing once a week, and that felt amazing. And then it was Russell and I were planning to really start hosting more classes and educating more and traveling to different states to teach. And that all got shut down. And so it has been really tricky to figure out our next move and to figure out how I'm going to find that balance next now with this whole new situation happening. So during the stay at home order, it was amazing to stay at home with my girls, and it was so nice to just I was able to go into the salon 2 days a week to catch up on business stuff and be with my girls the rest of the time. And that felt so great, and I really was striving to keep that balance
Mhm.
when going back to work, and it's been so hard.
How is your husband how do you guys work it between the 2 of you? Like, is he pretty
Well,
busy with work also?
he is. Yeah, he works probably like 10-hour days, 5 days a week. So we have childcare set up. We've kind of got this balance where I work 4 days a week in the salon, and um, during the week I'm home 2 days with the girls. My parents do 2 days of childcare, and then we have a nanny for 1 day.
Oh, okay.
And Alex does 1 day. I work on Sundays, and he watches the girls on that day. So we've got our little system of childcare going, but
And your 6-year-old, what grade is she in?
she's
Or
going in
well,
first.
how did you guys do the online did you guys do any online classes?
We did, and it was so hard. Um, for kindergartners, being on a screen for several hours while you're trying to learn something is so hard. I mean, I learned finally that after a month or so of doing the online stuff that once she hit a wall and once she was done, we had to just be done. And because there's no like pushing beyond that to try to get the work done. So, and then also she's in Japanese immersion school and I
Okay.
don't speak Japanese. So that was an added challenge because a lot of the curriculum was in Japanese. And so I would have to go through and kind of figure out what they're trying to teach and then try to help her to navigate it as well. So yeah, I don't know how we're gonna I don't know how we're gonna do this in the fall.
Do you know what teachers she's gonna have for the fall yet, or?
No, we don't
Okay.
even know that yet.
Because I don't think they're going to school, right? It's still
No,
gonna
it's
be
gonna
on.
be all remote. And we're gonna try to figure out some kind of little pod of maybe 3 to 5 kids that could meet 1 or 2 days a week. And have somebody who speaks Japanese kind of lead the kids
Oh,
through
okay.
that, so that they get some in person Japanese language. Because
What,
we have family that speaks Japanese, but they're all in different places, and so we have to do Zoom or FaceTime with them anyways. So it's all online anyway.
how is she handling it with, staying at home and all that stuff? Does she miss her friends?
She does miss her friends sometimes, but she mostly loves being at home. And
Oh.
it's I'm so glad that at least like we have the two girls that they get along really well and they have
Oh,
really
that's
bonded through
sweet.
this. It's been really cool to see their relationship flourish through this. But
And
she definitely misses her friends, and she one night had a talk with the virus when I was putting her to sleep. She was like, I gotta talk to the virus right now. I'm like, okay, you do that. And she sits up in bed and she's like, virus, you need to go away. This has been going on for too
tell
long.
him.
I want things to open again. I want to see my friends. We got to get back to life. I'm like, okay, good.
Oh,
I
that's
hope it
so
listens to you.
sweet. How did she
Yeah,
get that idea?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Just came to her.
And then what about your 2.5? Is she noticing anything, like something's different, or?
Yeah, she knows that something's up. She knows that we can't go places. She if we're trying to get her to wear her mask
Mhm.
when we're hiking and people are passing by, um and she's aware of it. Like one day we had to give our older daughter medicine for something, and our younger one was begging for medicine also and was like, you don't need medicine, and she's like, I have the virus.
Oh.
So, so she knows about it.
Man, I don't know, like, my 2-year-olds, they're pretty sneaky. Like,
Mhm.
they're very manipulative, kinda, like, they are. Ho
In
are
what
when
way?
is your 2.5-year-old, is she so she's obviously saying words, right?
Yes,
When did she start talking?
she started talking early. It was probably one when
Oh
she
my
was
gosh.
starting to say some words. So, and I think
I
having an older sister probably,
Yeah,
and then girls talk faster or sooner
okay.
than boys do anyway.
Yeah, because the Jack and Hunter, they started crawling and walking a lot pretty early, and
Mhm,
Hunter can say baby, he can say bottle, they're not really saying any words, but
mhm.
we've definitely hit the terrible twos.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
Hunter had a tantrum all day, and I was just like, "Oh my god."
it's so hard,
It
and
was
I hate to say that it doesn't get much better with
That is what
sleeping.
I've heard! Oh my god damn it.
You know,
I
it
think
gets
until,
worse
like
before it gets better.
I know, like, what is it, 4? I've heard, like, sometimes the mark is about 4 or so.
Yeah, 4, it starts getting better, and then really at 5, you're like, "Okay,
Okay.
you're looking like a human now, you're thinking a little
I
better, your
it's
brain's working more properly."
it's like, yeah, I had a meltdown. It was a few weeks ago, I had a meltdown and told Alex, "I want a divorce. I don't
Mhm.
wanna be a mom. I don't wanna come home at all."
Yeah.
Of course, he can cipher through that.
Running
He's like,
away.
"Okay, she doesn't really want a divorce. She's stressed." But now, it's still stressful, but it's one of those things where when I am off of work, it's like, "All right, it's gonna be a good day or it's
Mhm.
gonna be a bad day." They're going to have tantrums. So we're going to work on that. We're going to deal with this. So mom doesn't have a tantrum.
Yeah. It's
So
it's hard. And I think like part of being a mom too is like I have not it's so hard because you lose your identity a little bit because you're
yeah,
always giving and you're always taking care of these little people, and it's so hard to be able to retain anything for you
is
and be
it,
able to get through those tantrums in those days and realize
oh yeah. I I kind of realized that, because I love doing hair and I love being focused with my clients, but being a mom and then doing that, it's like you still need to carve out stuff for yourself.
yeah.
Like, do you do anything nice for yourself? Like, is there anything that you really like? Like, I need to do this at least once a week or something?
Uh, I well, you know what? My husband and I have started trading off with doing bedtimes with the girls.
Oh,
So
okay.
every other night, I get to have at least like an hour for me. So that lately has been looking like just walking
Oh,
around the neighborhood, or I'll meet friends for walks, and that's been really helpful.
I
But
think,
I definitely
yeah,
need to incorporate more self care, and that was something
totally.
that during the stay at home order, I was able to just like do yoga throughout the day and have at least like little dance parties with the girls throughout the day to get us moving. And that was really just it was really helpful. But
Oh, that's
now
great.
I'm not able to do all that. So
It's
I
hard.
incorporate it when I can.
Yeah, it's
Are
hard.
you able to get some self care in
Um,
consistently?
let's see. So my gym, which is the Villa Sport, they opened
Mhm.
up. I feel pretty safe. It's pretty clean in there. And honestly,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of people, but it's just carving out the time because their hours changed. So they close earlier. So
Mhm.
I've started because I got slammed. Were you pretty slammed when you first opened up?
Yeah, we're still slammed. Yeah, we're
Oh
always
my
slammed.
gosh. Yeah, so I was really slammed, and it was like I was excited to be back, but then, yeah, I had no time for myself, but now it's starting to kinda slow down a little bit, so I'm
Mhm.
purposely blocking myself off earlier so that I could go to the gym.
Yeah.
So the gym is my thing, and then, you seen the post, I'm a total plant person, and I can't have plants at my house because the kids will tear them or eat them.
Oh yeah.
So I started buying plants for the shop as well as my room, and I love to water them. 'Em. I'll miss them, like, fertilize
Nice.
them. It's like I became a plant lady. Yeah, so
uh,
it's just nice. I start my work or I get to work a little bit earlier, about an hour earlier, and then
mhm,
I like to stay later cleaning up, and then I'll just make sure all the plants are okay.
mhm. Nice.
So that's my thing.
Great.
Now what kind of goals do you guys have or do you have for this salon? Do you have any goals for right now, like where you're at and what you'd like to see in a year? If we could get a vaccine and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do want to really kind of shift gears towards like focusing more on education for stylists. So I still want to take on clients, but then I also want to be able to I think right now what it's going to look like is to start doing video tutorials to be
I
available
was
on our
gonna
website soon. And so we're starting with just the curly wash and styling, and it'll be for the client side of things and for stylists because since we can't go through that whole wash and styling drying process with our clients right now, we're noticing that a lot of them we're still troubleshooting and talking them through things during their whole appointment, but we're not able to get our hands in their hair when it's totally soaking wet and to be able to get them to feel how much product they need to put in their hair. So at least if we can put these videos out and do little like 10 to 15-minute videos for like $10 each, I think that's just a really like digestible amount of time and price point for people to be able to just to grab that and get that real professional knowledge. So we're going to start there, and then we'll move on to cutting tutorials and balayage tutorials and all of that hopefully. So
I I would totally and I know this would be probably a lot of work. If
mhm.
you even did like a live class or a class, people could go on Zoom and watch you. I don't know
Yeah.
if you could like prop your laptop at. Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you that because I've been wanting to take a class by you, and so I'm really glad that you're gonna start posting it on the website.
Yeah, so we're gonna have like the client versions, and then I also want to make a version for stylists that goes more in depth of why we're choosing the products for this specific curl types and textures. So,
And
uh,
then, so now being a salon owner, mom, like a hairstylist for 17 years, what do you have to say for like newbies starting beauty school? What advice do you have for them?
well, I think just treating your hair career like it is a career, and really trying to get started on the right foot by educating yourself in the right places, and just to try to get into a good assistant program, because that is going to help to eliminate so many years of questioning what you're doing,
Mhm.
um and it'll just get you set up, just starting off on the right foot, and then taking as much advanced education as you can, because that
Okay.
every class, it helps so much.
And then
Mhm.
what about ideas for people becoming or wanting to become a salon owner?
Well, I don't know. Right now is a really hard time
I
to
know, yeah.
to do it. I think wait until after COVID, and just to really try to have a focus, and try to have your brand figured out before you start, and just to try to like carve out, have a business plan, have as much lined up as you possibly can, and once you get started, have your systems really in place, and just to keep refining and keep honing in on those systems. And
I so, because I told you that I was really thinking about being a salon owner, and
mm,
then, Megafauna, House of Jude, have you seen them on Instagram?
yes, yeah, that is such a beautiful space.
It's like there's these little boutique and, With Love or Hair with Love, I think that might be another one. There are these
Yeah,
little boutique salons that are popping up where they're only, like, two-chair salons.
yeah,
And I even though I have my space, like, I love my space and, it is pretty private, I honestly almost feel like I feel like I'm gravitating towards that later on. Like, I even
yeah.
told my husband, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it just looks really peaceful. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
I actually wanna interview a couple of them and talk to them about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, it looks really nice, especially for right now. And then if you can start your brand there, and just start in that small environment. And I think for clients right now, that is really nice too, to have just a couple of stylists in there. And that's sort of what Gilded Fox is feeling like right now. It's just me and Russell, and we have our 6 chairs, but it's just us. And so we can be distanced. And I think our clients really appreciate that it's just us and less people.
Are
And
you
we actually do have our nail artist Fumi still. So it's
Oh, okay.
amazing.
Are you doing okay with that? Like, does it freak you out not to have the chairs filled right now, or are you kinda, like, fine that it's you and Russell?
I'm fine that it's just us. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers that we can financially make it happen. I think that we can, especially if we can get this online education going and get some passive income coming in through that. And I feel like it's a good time to restart right now too. And I feel
Yeah.
like essentially Gilded Fox is me and Russell, and like we are the two that have been sort of like the advanced stylists, and the strongest ones, and the creatives behind everything we've been doing. So it's sort of exciting to be able to start fresh right now with this, and to see what we can do. So
That's great.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me, Andrea.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you
Yeah.
guys, there you have it. This is Andrea Neal-Thiesen of Gilded Fox, a curly-haired salon located on Westover and Northwest 23rd. If you'd like to know more about curly hair or considering specializing in curly hair, you can reach Andrea at her website, which is www.gildedfoxbeauty.com. And you can also check out their work on Instagram at Gilded Fox Beauty.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to learn more about the podcast as well as previous interviews that I've done, you can check them out on my website at www.hairapy.salon or Spotify and iTunes. Your Hairapy session with Emily. Well, thanks, Andrea. It's so good talking to you, and I hope I can see you face to face soon.
I know. I hope so too.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you
Yeah.
later. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, guys, that's my interview. Andrea, she's a hustler, a salon owner, a mother of 2, and just a kick-ass stylist specializing in curly hair. She believes in her business, she believes in sharing knowledge, and she's just straight up a nice person. You guys should really check out her Instagram page at Gildedfox Beauty and her website www.gildedfoxbeauty.com. There you'll find a guide to their curly hair approach, the products they carry, which you can purchase online, and the pricing of their services. You can also check out curly hair specialist Russell Costellis. Russell is a coworker of Andrea's and has been at her salon for the last 4 years. Oh yeah, and their nail tech, who does really cute designs, is Instagram handle at ColorTreatsPDX. Well guys, that's it for now. So be safe, be healthy, and above all, be hopeful. This is your Hairapy Session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland Hairstylist. Show written by Emily Mazur, sponsored by Ziba Hub. Ziba Hub, a career app for beauty professionals where you can find jobs, explore events, and build community. And editing by 127 Media House.